Welcome back, guys. Today we're going over War of the Visions content with Kitone and Whisper in the new banner available for you guys to be pulling on right now in War of the Visions. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Spend a little bit of your time here. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for this support via Patreon as well as YouTube channel memberships. And then a small little shout out if you're doing multiplayer, all this other cool stuff, you don't want to be playing with absolute randoms. Another great place to come and hang out for free, absolutely free. Discord is free. If you don't know about Discord, it's where we hang out for Brave Exvias, War of the Visions, like-minded players. We've set up a nice and fantastic system for you there. Now, let's get into it right here for you guys with Kitone. We're going over her first. She is going to be a main job ninja UR character. Second job is soldier. Third job is time mage. She is a female Earth ninja affiliated with Leonis. So the first thing we're going to be going over are her stats. She's very quick here, 61 speed. In TLDR, she'll be a quicker, speedier, dodgier version of Stern with more supportive capabilities due to her time mage job, if that is something that you're looking for there. So speed, dexterity, luck, a little bit of attack, and she does actually have a decent amount of HP, capping out at 1700 once you have her max awakened. Now, let's get into her other stuff here with her evasion mastery ability. 15% evasion there. As you can see, those of you who have been using the lovely dovely shadow links might be used to seeing a mastery ability like this, and Kitone comes in with a mastery ability very similar to shadow links, and they actually make a very nice partnership due to both of them being slashing damage, both of them being very quick, very dodgy. You can build a team out of these two characters if that's something that you're interested in. Now, her limit burst here is the Saiga Shadow Bind, or Saiga Style Shadow Bind, excuse me. Here you can use this once like every other limit burst. It deals heavy damage and has a chance to stop a unit for you there. So pretty cool, pretty powerful. And also, like every other limit burst in the game for the most part, goes from a 65 mod all the way up to a 100 times multiplier. Now let's talk about some of her main job abilities. Ninja, nothing super crazy to go over, right? There's no new unique jobs. We've seen all these jobs before. So you have your hide, you have your long range attack with Shuriken. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have seen Sterns throwing this around. She does have an option there with Shuriken. And she does have Shadow Runner for her speed and luck increase there. She has the counter poison, really not all that useful. Doton, if you want to do a non-slashing type of damage. If you want to do earth damage that isn't necessarily slashing. So if you come up against someone who has heavy slashing resistance, this will be an option for you. Or if you want to do earth damage, this is an option for you. She does have Shikuchi here to keep that speed and movement up. This is going to get her very fast because she has a base move of 4. All right, so you can get all the way up to 5 movement with her, just like her ninja brethren. She also has the ability to increase her crit hit rate, increase her accuracy. She does have Shadow Bind, and she also has Utusemi. And then finally, Dream Within a Dream is here for her. So when you're going in and approaching an enemy, you can use Utusemi for 60% evasion there. You could guarantee yourself a critical hit with her other buff there. And then you can also increase your chain mod here with Dream Within a Dream. This is why she makes a pretty powerful partner with Shadow Links, because they can both get Dream Within a Dream. Max level, max awakening, very powerful combination there because it does hit 3 times and it does have a high critical hit rate there. Now, on top of that, we also have this soldier sub job here. So she has your traditional counter slash if you want to do some counter damage there. And she also has Osmos Force, Paralyze Edge, Hazard Form to increase her attack there with a buff. Paralyze Edge, if you want to do a chance to paralyze, you are going to have Shuriken, so you could just use that if you want to there. And then we also have Hazard Spin. If you're really close to an enemy, she can do a bunch of damage once you get right up next to somebody. 38 AP, AoE right around herself there for some extremely heavy damage there with Hazard Spin. She also does have the lovely soldier passive buff we all know and love, 60% attack and 8% resistance decrease to all attack types in the game, right? Striking, slashing, missile, all of that stuff. All of that's going to get dropped by 8%, but you get 60% attack increase there. And she also does have hard slash. Now, her main damage dealing skills, if you go soldier, you can have Hazard Spin for close range, but you're really going to kind of still be using Shuriken for the long range attack there. You don't really need to be using Paralyzing Edge or you don't really need to be using hard slash or anything of that nature. But you do get the passive of the attack 60% up there. Now her final thing here is Time Mage, and this is going to allow you to do some very tricky stuff with her, and this is going to give you some nice supportive options here. So you have the ability for transposition here to swap places with a target, so you can get someone who's relatively slow in your party very, very far with this, right? Because you can have a Kitone, have her go first, have her run really far away, and then have her transport the slow person in your party all the way up forward, and then they can go after her, and then they get to move, and then they get to attack, and you do some pretty cool things with position swap / transposition here with Kitone. She does have the ability to become immune to slow, stop, haste, and quick. All right, she does have immobilize, but we're not casting that in comment. We're not casting that, but she does have access to haste, so she can haste an ally. She can be your haster as well if you want to go about that route with her, which is something that you could go. And if you are going Time Mage, it's probably for haste. And then she also does have the rapid casting passive if you're going this more slow oriented route here, which allows her to cast her spells faster. So she's really fast. She can get haste off fast. You can just haste your team a lot if that is something you want to do, or transport your team with transposition very fast there. Now she also has a very unique counter that Time Mages usually have, which is going to be counter slow here. So this could be very good actually in PvE due to the fact that it has a chance to slow the attacker when she's attacked. And after we talk about her TMR here, we're going to talk about what are the cool rolls that she can do. So she does have Saiga's Gauntlet here, 142 HP, 12 evade, 5 speed, and then critical evade 12. It has the ability that you can use as a TP skill here. It's going to reduce your enmity, but it also is going to give you move and jump +1 for 3 turns. So you can put this on someone who's relatively slow in your party. It's not the greatest thing on her, but you could, if you wanted to, put it on her if you need that, and it's going to allow you to make someone slower, move and jump higher, longer, faster, all that good stuff. Her resistance here, 10 slash and resist, 10 piercing weakness, 5 striking resist, neutral to missile, and 10% weakness to magic. And she's also going to be 10% weak to wind and 20% resistant to thunder. So Kitone does do a pretty good job at a lot of different roles. All right, and she does have some unique roles that only she can do in the combinations of stuff that she can do there. So Kitone, good damage, very fast. If you think of her as a faster Stern that does a little bit less damage and moves a lot faster than Stern does because of her 5 movement speed over his 4 after Shikuchi. Trade a little bit of damage for a lot of speed is what you're basically doing here with this character. If all you care about is her damage dealing opportunity there. The other thing that Stern does have over her is he does have Hazard Break, which is a big attack that does more damage than Shuriken, costs a lot more, but hits a long range from the soldier job. She doesn't get access to that, he does, but if you're just worried about throwing shurikens and running around, you can do that. Now up close range, she does have the ability to chain pretty big with Dream Within a Dream, and this is gonna be super strong for a lot of like single target boss fights here. Chaining is something that you guys are going to be getting into eventually, right? You're going to have like slashing damage teams or whatever have you there, and you can do very cool things with Dream Within a Dream, partner with someone else who has a multiple hit skill, right? You have like Ramza with his triple blow. You have another Dream Within a Dream from our girl Shadow Lynx. You have Thancred with his double hit skill. But what you can do too is you can also make her tank for you. A lot of people are actually getting in on the dodge tank idea here with someone like Shadow Lynx, where you give them the Vow of Love. You increase their dodge up a lot because they have a lot of agility. They have a lot of luck from being ninjas. They also have dodge passives. You can put a dodge buff on them from someone with the samurai job, right, with the 25% dodge buff. And then you give them some dodge gear, right? You could be her TMR. You can in the future craft a better dodge piece of gear. Say just had 27 dodge on it. You get some dodge on your Esper. You can pretty much build as close to or exceed 100% dodge on a character like this, and you put Vow of Love on them, and if they're able to dodge everything from the boss, right, they don't take damage, they're going to continue tanking with that hate because they're not getting hit, they're not taking damage, and it's going to allow you to be as aggressive as possible. And you put something like counter slow on her, and now you're getting free slows off on a boss, which reduces how much that boss takes turns, which means that boss is going to be super slow, and you can build chains on that boss with something like a multiple hit skill, such as the one she has always from Dream Within a Dream. So you can have this character who's in your party tanking for you, building chains, counter slowing, and you can make her do more damage by giving her access to something like her soldier sub job, right? Give her hazard spin to chain finish that chain later. Or you could also further your team's ability to keep speed over that boss, right? You can make her your haster. So now not only can she counter slow the boss, she can haste your teammates, haste yourself, chain with dream within a dream every once in a while, and then you'll be able to build a big chain up, and that boss can be slowed, and maybe you have a thief in your team for steal time, and you'll be able to build a giant chain on the enemy, and you're going to be doing so much damage. So a lot of cool stuff you can do with Katonah, and then obviously the whole dodge thing, you can do that with a full dodge team in PvP, and she's going to be a character that you're going to be using in that team. So that's going to be Kitone, very strong. We're going to be trying to push our luck a little bit later on tonight. So if you want to come and hang out with us on twitch.tv, go ahead and check those links down in the description of the video below. It's always a good time. It's always good fun. If you saw the Orlando video, we're pretty lucky. Hopefully we can keep that luck up, although we don't need to go quite so hard on Kitone. Hopefully we can just do it right away, one and done. Now the next character to talk about here is actually Judge Whisper. Judge and the Whisper, the White Whisper, pretty much. I mean, her name's just Whisper, but her translated name was Judge and the White Whisper. She's a very unique character, sort of like Kitone, but in a different way. She's not like a dodgy character like Kitone does, but she's unique in the ways that Kitone is also unique in different ways. They're unique, but in two different ways. So she's the Knight, Samurai, Rune Knight class here. So she's very cool, very popular, pretty powerful on top of that. And let's get in here now. Her max stats, she's a tanking type character. We have Knight. We also have access to the Spellblade class and Samurai, and her main role is to be tanking damage for your party. She can do some other stuff, but if you look at her stats here, she does have pretty low HP for a tanking character, okay? So you're going to need very specific things to kind of draw out her potential, and we'll talk about that. We're going to be making some videos on her sisters in the future, Murmur as well as Grace, who you can also do very unique things with. So what makes her super unique? We're going to have to drop all the way down to her resistances to check this out really quick. She's 25% slash and resist, 25% piercing resist, 25% strike and resist, 25% missile resist, and 25% magic resist. The only element she's weak to is light by 10%, and she is, you've guessed it, a dark type character. Her master ability gives her slashing attack +5, and then all other attack types plus another 5. So it's 10 slash and resist here, and then another 5 to everything else. So to really raise her resistances there. She's kind of like a resistance type tank, and you can kind of go against the grain, right? If in PvP or in a boss fight, if you can say, okay, all or the vast amount of damage I'm about to take is this one sort of type, you can do your best to use vision cards that reduce that type, use an Esper that reduces that type, and use other sort of pieces of equipment to reduce that type as well. And you can really take, I'm talking 80, 85, 90% reduction of that damage type on a character with very high passive resists like Whisper does, and that's going to let you counterbalance out that low HP she has, and that's why she has that low HP. Now let's talk about her ability here. That is her limit burst, heavy damage to the targets in an area and decreases brave for them. So a little bit of damage, right? Just like every other limit burst does, 65 to 100. And then the secondary effect is brave down. Now brave down, right? You might not think about it. Everyone just max your brave, max your brave. That's because brave does a lot of different things, but most importantly, for damage dealers that are doing physical damage as well as the enemies, reducing your bravery reduces the amount of physical damage you do. So this is going to be a way for you to kind of lower bravery with her limit burst in a fight, so you take even less physical damage through an extra skill basically with her LB. So that's pretty cool there. Her night job skills here, we have the typical stuff, right? We have Divine Heal, Power Break, Magic Break, so a sword guard, all of the cool stuff, speed break. So she's got the different breaks here. We got attack break, magic break, speed break. We have the sword guard passive to reduce physical damage done, right? She's got paladin. She doesn't have, or no, she doesn't have the paladin one. She's got sword guard, which is the one that reduces all damage by 30%. Paladin has the paladin's guard. Obviously it reduces physical damage by 45% there. So pretty interesting that she doesn't have that one, but sword guard is generally the one that I like to use the most due to the fact that it reduces all kinds of damage, whether it be magical or physical, by 30% there. She also has an HP up passive. She also has an AP break to reduce the AP of the target. So you can get in there, you can reduce the boss's AP. That's going to keep them from casting their big skills, right? TP skills are generally used for like buffs and heals and things of that nature. AP is what you're using to use your big damage dealing skills. You can do that. You can go in there and also AP break people in PvP after they're trying to build up their AP to drop their little bit burst on you or drop their really big heavy hitting skills. You can just say no and take that out of the equation while she's running around soaking up damage. In PvP. Now, she also has a TP break. She also has access to arm break for disable, and then Trinity break for the attack, magic, and speed down. All right, for 3 turns there. So a lot of breaks with the Knight ability. She also gets that HP passive, and she also gets access to the Sacred Boon passive for debuff resistance. And that's pretty much where a lot of her tanking stuff does come from there, from her Knight ability. Now, we also have Samurai abilities here with Spirit Blade, which is going to give her a defense down of 3 once you have it maxed out, but it's going to give her some evasion, and it's going to give her some attack increase as well. So you can kind of try to force her to be like a dodgy tank, right? Give her some dodge, give her some of those resistances so she takes damage that is reduced if she does get hit. You can play around with that if you want to. And she also has Meditate, Illusion for the evasion buff, so there's another way to increase not only yours, but your party's evasion as well. And she also has your traditional samurai things like Hien, Third Eye, and the Slow from Oboro, Devotion for an attack and crit buff here, and then Night Veil for the blind. Now, a lot of this stuff, you probably won't be using her on Samurai very much unless you're going for the use of Illusion for the most part. She's got a lot of other cool and better things to be doing, but if you want to use her for Illusion, you can go ahead and do that. That's going to be her main use. Now, her counter here with Third Eye, I don't really like this. If I'm using her as a tank, right, and I'm going evasion, you're either going to have the evasion or you're not going to have the evasion. You don't want to go in there and be like, okay, well, if I evade everything, I'm good to go. But missing 10% evasion or 20% evasion, and so I'm going to use Third Eye. That way, if I get hit, I have a chance to increase my evasion again. Don't do that. Just put Sword Guard on, and you're going to have a better run of the mill. You're going to have a better time playing the game like that. Now, her final ability here, as it says, this is translated Rune Knight. This is actually going to be the old Bioblade, Darkblade, her Spellblade type skills here. So she doesn't have Paladin, she has Spellblade here. And she actually has a light elements protection, so it reduces incoming magic damage. All right, very strong. Dark Blade, Bioblade, Dark Blade, so kind of like Banish Blade and Banish Blade from Ramza. She's got the dark versions of it, work just the same way, so they're slashing attacks that do magic damage, right? But she also does get this nice buff here, Magic Resist, which Ramza also has, which is very nice, which can give you, I think it's 38% magic resist for herself and other people. Like we talked about before, this plays very well with her, tanking certain attacks by just increasing your resistance through the sky. This is going to be a big magic resist buff that you can put on her. And she already has a lot of magic resistance too. She's not strictly a magic tank, but you can really fill her role that way due to this magic resist skill in her passive resistance to just magic damage in general. Now, for a taunting attack here, we do have her Spellblader, a taunting skill here, deals damage and increases chance of being targeted to increase your hate there. Very nice skill. And if you want to go ahead and reduce magic damage specifically, she does have the magic guard that you can use instead of the sword guard. So very cool character due to the fact that of how she works with the different resistances. She's not like, I have a lot of HP and I put defense and spirit on, right, like a traditional tank, and there's, I take a little bit less damage with my resistances, and it kind of like plays like an EHP, like an effective health pool, right? My health's gonna last me X amount of damage longer, or X amount of attacks longer, because I'm reducing, striking by 20%. That helps out a little bit, or taking, a little bit less damage because I have higher defense or something, things of that nature. She doesn't have that, right? She doesn't have a master ability like Engelbert does, where he's getting 15 defense, or like Mont, where he's getting 15 defense. She really wants to be min-maxed out with this striking resistance, like anti-metagame type thing there. If you want to make her an anti-magic tank, 25% flat, 5 more from her passive ability, right? And then you can maybe throw on her buff, right? Which is another 38. That's 68% passive magic damage reduction. Put out an Esper that gives you 15% more. Now you're already sitting at 82% magic damage reduction. And then get a vision card or a piece of gear that gives you some magic reduction. And you're getting it upwards of 95% magic reduction. And she can do that for a lot of different things there. Now, she's not going to be very good at tanking. You're not going to hit 90, 80-90% reduction for all 4 of them at the same time. But you can be moving your gear around, leveling your espers up. She does take a lot of work to kind of fully maximize how good she is. She's not a set it and forget it kind of character, but she is going to be pretty powerful, and you're looking for a, if you are, I should say, looking for a kind of long-term investment, you like putting that, you know, that Millennium Puzzle sort of thing together, then she's going to be a cool character for you to get your hands on there. So that's going to be Whisper and Kitone, very cool characters in Brave Exvius. Make sure you come and check out the stream tonight. It's going to be a cool time. We usually don't stream today, but we're going to get in there. We're going to have fun, and hopefully we're going to get our girl Kitone. Look at that nice shining dagger there. If you want to see more stuff like this, usually it's done in a little bit different way. I'm usually on camera and all that other stuff. I'm not doing that today. So stay safe out there, guys. Make smart decisions. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. And comment down below if you're going for Kitone, if you're going for Whisper, or who you're saving up for in the future. A lot of cool content on the way for you guys this weekend, so stay tuned for it, and I'll see you guys out there, Patreon supporters, YouTube channel members, and everyone else. You guys are all amazing in the next one. Take care, guys.